Excellent day, everyone, and welcome back. If this is your first time, welcome to viewing us here at the All-in-One, One-in-All channel. I'm very grateful, very excited, very thankful for what we're doing, and playing a part in helping us to recognize and realize more of our inner peace and joy, allowing more of our abundance and creativity and genius and innovativeness to flow, as a part of our natural state of being. So I'm very grateful that I get a part to play a part in this in terms of unfolding our true nature. And this series discussing change, continuously harmonizing all either nuances or nuisances, growing excellently, growing and continuing to express, so that's one way you can look at change. So it's a continuous process of harmonizing what's happening in the environment, what's happening in our life experiences. We spoke in the first series about the continuity of change, the continuity of life rather, and so life is continuous. Life continues to go on. Life always is going on, and it's progressive. Life continues to go to higher levels. And then we also spoke about meaning, what different aspects of life mean, and when different changes happening in the different areas of our life, how to be able to actually extract the meaning and recognizing that life is its own meaning. And then today we're discussing, and the topic for today is to discuss the negotiation of structures, how to negotiate our way through the various structures that we have in our life. And in our life, we could break it up into segments, even though life is singular. One of the things about life is that life is truly whole. Life is not in parts. But for the purposes of really helping us to come back to our wholeness, come back to an integrated state of being, we have to, in a sense, get these areas of life working. So we could look at them as certain structures, but they're really not separate. All right, it's really just one life that's within us, and we are operating in these different structures from that central life. But what happened to us over time is that we got broken up into fragments. So we feel somewhat fragmented, and our life is dealt with in areas. So by looking at these areas and bringing these areas to some sense of stability, we can come back and get back to knowing our sense of wholeness and our sense of completeness. So one of the areas that we have structure in is spiritual. We're all spiritual, at the end of the day, meaning that we're eternal beings, at the core and center of who we are. So that aspect of ourselves and having a stable spiritual practice, recognizing that that's an aspect of our life, and in negotiating that structure, we need to have practices, particularly two of the most important ones from my perspective, is meditation, silent meditation, and the next one is affirmative prayer. And as we progress, I will get into helping us with meditation and doing some silent meditation, and even practicing some and guiding some, very, very powerful practices. And the second area are the egoic structures, and the structures of the egoic life, the ego, is something that we sort of have as our fingernail, for lack of a better way of putting it. And a lot of us initially are very identified with it. The ego is contained with thoughts, emotions, and in a sense the physical body, and then that makes it up. So there's a mental, emotional, and a physical body. And the mental and emotional way of being is based on past experiences, which forges personalities. So our ego has a number of different personalities. And I know sometimes people don't like to think of it that way, but our ego has multiple personalities, right? It behaves in different ways from different times, and depending on what pricks it, it will respond differently. And then after that, now we have a biological family structure. Biological family structure, what we call parents on the earth, and if you have had children on the earth, or you may have adopted, and those are what we call cousins, those are what we call other people from the country that we're in, or maybe the city or the state. There's some sort of connection there. And then also there's some financial structures, business, how we generate money, how we get coin from this realm, what are the different things that we're doing there to bring money into our lives so that we can actually use it to do what's necessary. And then also we have community structures, in terms of the community that you're living in and some of the things that you may be participating in helping to make the society better. So negotiating our way through these structures, one of the most important things to remember is not to get stuck in them. Those are circumstantial things, right? And at the end of the day, we are central to them. Our being is the I am that's central to what's happening on the outside. And the more we become re-identified with the central sense of being, then the changes that are happening in these structures become easier for us to deal with. For example, the physical body is going through its changes and it's maturing and it's going through its changes. It's going through its changes. And if we identify with the physical body as us, then we feel like we are the ones aging. As opposed to the I am, the eternal spiritual self that we are, never ages. It's deathless, it's birthless, it's dimensionless. It never had a birthday, will never have a day when it dies. But the body had a day when it was born and will have a day when it dies. So as a result, if you're identified as you, as this physical body, what ends up happening to you is that as those changes are happening, you feel like it's happening to you, as opposed to it's happening to the body. Another way we have to look at it is like you have a car, right? You have an automobile. And you use the automobile to drive you around. But, the automobile is aging, it's rusting, the paint is faded. You don't say, I'm fading or I'm rusting. The automobile is just your vehicle of transport to move you from one place to another. And so it is with us on this earth, right? This body is like an astronaut suit. Right? If you were in the moon or on the moon rather, right, you would have on an astronaut suit. And the inside of it is an atmosphere that allows you to be able to be somewhere where you don't necessarily belong. So it is with us here. We are not earthly beings only. We are spiritual beings, right? We're heavenly spiritual beings. And because of this now, we're wearing this bodysuit. And we can carry with us in this suit the atmosphere of where we're from, which is a heavenly way of being. Won't get too much into that today, but just really helping us to understand that when you identify yourself with your body, the changes that the body goes through, you feel like you're the one going through them. With meditation and prayer, you'll roll back from that identification into your true sense of self, and then those changes won't feel like you're the one going through them. And also your biological family. The structures there. When you have recognized your innate wholeness, when you realize you're okay from within, and you don't need anything from the outside, you bring love, peace, joy into your biological relationships and the connections that you'll make along the way. So you no longer become needy. One of my, my actual spiritual mentors, Michael Beckwith, and he said, Reverend Michael Beckwith from Agape International Spiritual Center, and then he said this, if two types of people are the most dangerous people on this planet. Two types of people, right? A person that cannot be alone. That's one person who's very dangerous. The second most dangerous person on this planet is someone who doesn't have a vision. So those two categories of individuals, people who can't be alone, meaning that they need somebody or something going on to feel okay. Because there's an inner sense of anxiety, there's a neediness, there's a manipulation, there's a controlling, there's needing somebody to do this for you, do that for you. Have to be around others before they can feel okay. They can't be alone and be okay. That word alone, all one. When you can be alone and be okay, you're all one. So from within, you're okay. And you bring that sense of being okay into your relationships, into the structures of the biological connections that you have and whatever friends you may have and relationships and business and so forth. So when you show up, peace shows up, joy shows up, love shows up. Wherever you go, abundance and prosperity starts to flow from who and what you really are. All right, so that's how we negotiate the family structures and then our financial structures. It's wise, my friends, to have multiple ways for money to flow into your life. As I've grown over time, I've realized this more and more, how important it is. Because streams can dry up, right? You have a stream flowing in a direction and it could dry up, right? So if you have multiple streams of money flowing into and through your life, if one stream dries up, you're working on a new one. Right now, I'm up to about 5. I'm seeking to add 6. So I'm very happy about where we are, right? And I encourage you to do the same so your financial structures become more stable. So if a stream dries up, you have another one developing. And I'll continue to develop. I'm going to get to about 11 different streams before I exit the planet. And then those I'll pass on to my biological children, right? For them to carry on where I left off, higher than where I came into this earth, right? So financial structures, stabilize them. One of the things I've learned, if your life is just about you, just about you. There's a leader that said this. I thought it was funny. Maybe you think it is. But he's from the Napoleon Hill Foundation, and he was speaking to us at a convention. And he said, if all you need on this earth is a roof over your head and food. You know, all you need is a roof over your head. It means you just need food and shelter. He says you could get that in jail. Right? So you don't even need to go and do much. All right? And some jails have nice air conditioning. I mean, it's even more comfortable than some homes. So my point is this: if all you're here to do is that, then you don't need to do much. But then what if you're here now to change the community? We have a foundation, and it started since I've been here in Nigeria. And we've been feeding people. We fed 2,000 so far for the year on the streets of Lagos, and we're going to feed 5,000 in December. And we're putting together a home to take people from the streets, house them. So we're gonna give them shelter, we're gonna feed them, we're gonna actually give them clothing, and we're also gonna educate them. We're gonna educate them the basics of education, and then also teach them spiritual principles as we are sharing with each other here, so that they can come back to remember their divinity. And when they remember their divinity, the thoughts of inspiration take over. And then their life changes and they come back into the society to add and no longer depend. Now that birthed itself in me. I wasn't the kind of guy who was coming up as a young person planning to do that, right? That happened through opening up myself, through spiritual practice, meditation, affirmative prayer, and then my thought process started to change. And as more of the higher thoughts of God started to think through me, then I started to do things that I never thought I'd have done before. For example, my book that's coming up, 100 words that will transform your life. And another book is right after that, from moving from serfdom to freedom. So these things are coming from my soul. They're birthing themselves through me, right? And you have the same capacity. So over time, we're going to discuss how to unpack our destiny, how to unpack our true nature, how to allow the presence that's within us, that eternal presence that we call spirit, to start to work in, through, and as us, and express itself as us in the world. And then people see you doing things and they say, wow, man, he's doing some great things. She's doing some great things. Look at all the different things she's doing, he's doing, right? But the truth is that it's the Spirit of God doing it through each and every one of us. So that's negotiating structures in a synopsis way. And of course, the next topic is celebrating change, right? That's a tough one, but celebrating change. All right, so man, I'm very grateful. Thank you for chiming in. I appreciate you guys so much. Love each and every one of you that's participating in this movement with us. And I thank God for your life, man. And I bless you. And I want to see you at the top of life, man. You deserve to be there. Top for us is the omnipotent palace. See you there. Bye for now. For those of us who enjoyed this video, or even if you didn't fully enjoy it, but leave your comments, right? Please share it with friends, family, individuals that you'd like to actually learn about what we're talking about. And please subscribe to this channel as well. Our goal is to really help more of us as human beings on this planet rise and shine and reveal more of our inner peace, joy, and reveal more abundance. All right. So thank you for your comments. I'm looking forward to reading them. I'll seek to respond to them. I'm having a great time. I hope that you are. God bless you all.